Today, we're setting sail for the heart of the Caribbean, to explore a place that's been a crossroads of history, culture, and nature for over 500 years. We're talking about the legendary Havana Bay in Cuba. It's more than just a beautiful harbor. It's a living museum, a strategic masterpiece, and a story etched into the very landscape. So, grab your virtual passport, because we're about to dive deep into how this incredible bay was formed and how it shaped the destiny of a nation. Let's start at the very beginning, long before any ships graced its waters. The story of Havana Bay begins with geology. Millions of years ago, the island of Cuba was taking shape through complex tectonic processes. The area that would become Havana Bay was a low-lying coastal region. Geologists believe it's a drowned river valley, or a ria, that was gradually submerged by rising sea levels after the last ice age. Imagine a river carving its way to the sea, and then as the glaciers melted, the ocean slowly crept inland, flooding that river valley and creating the unique, pouch-like shape we see today. This natural formation is what makes Havana Bay so special. It's not just a gentle curve in the coastline. It's a deep, protected basin connected to the open sea by a narrow, defensible channel. This bottleneck entrance is only about 300 meters wide, but it opens up into a massive bay that can shelter hundreds of ships. It was as if nature itself had designed the perfect harbor. The surrounding limestone bluffs provided a solid foundation for future construction, and the deep waters meant even the largest vessels could anchor safely, shielded from the fierce Caribbean hurricanes. This geological lottery ticket would prove to be the single most important factor in Havana's destiny. Fast forward to the late 15th and early 16th centuries. European explorers are crisscrossing the Atlantic, and Spain is eager to establish a foothold in the New World. They initially settled on Cuba's southern coast, but it didn't take them long to realize the incredible potential of the northern shore. In 1519, the Spanish officially moved the settlement of San Cristobal de la Habana to its current location, right at the mouth of this magnificent bay. The name Havana itself is shrouded in a bit of mystery, possibly named after a local Taíno chief named Habuquanex. The Spanish instantly recognized the bay's strategic value. Why? Location, location, location. Cuba is perfectly positioned at the entrance to the Gulf of Mexico. The prevailing currents and winds, especially the powerful Gulf Stream, naturally funneled ships sailing from the Americas back to Spain, right past Cuba's northern coast. Havana Bay became the mandatory final stopping point for the Spanish treasure fleets, the famous Flota de Indias. Imagine this scene. Massive galleons, laden with silver from Mexico and Peru, gold from Colombia, and spices from the east, would gather in the safety of Havana Bay. Here, they would restock on fresh water, food, and supplies. They'd make repairs after their long journeys, and then sail together in a heavily armed convoy to protect themselves from pirates and rival navies. Havana wasn't just a port, it became the Fort Knox of the Spanish Empire, the treasure chest of the New World. The entire economic system of the empire depended on the security of this bay. Of course, where there's treasure, there are pirates. The immense wealth passing through Havana made it a prime target for buccaneers, privateers, and enemy nations like England, France, and the Netherlands. The Spanish knew they had to protect their prize, and so began one of the most ambitious military construction projects in the Americas. Over the next 2 centuries, Havana Bay was transformed into a fortress. It started with the Castillo de la Real Fuerza, one of the oldest stone forts in the Americas. But the real game changers were the 2 titans guarding the narrow entrance channel. On the east side rose the formidable Castillo de los Tres Reyes del Moro, or El Moro for short. Its iconic lighthouse became a symbol of Havana. On the west side, they built the Castillo de San Salvador de la Punta. Together, these 2 forts created a deadly crossfire zone. A massive chain was even stretched across the channel at night to block any unauthorized entry. The city itself was wrapped in a massive defensive wall, making Havana one of the most heavily fortified cities in the world. This system was so effective that for nearly 150 years, Havana was considered impregnable. This security allowed the city to flourish. Inside the walls, a vibrant colonial metropolis blossomed. Grand plazas, ornate churches, and lavish mansions were built, funded by the wealth of trade and the sugar industry that was beginning to boom in the Cuban countryside. The bay was a constant flurry of activity, not just with military ships, but with merchant vessels from all over the world. It was a cosmopolitan hub where goods, ideas, and cultures mixed. The development of Havana and the development of its bay were one and the same. The city grew because the bay was safe, and the bay became safer because the city was growing. But the impregnable fortress finally met its match in 1762, during the 7 Years' War. The British bat, in a stunning and audacious military operation, didn't attack the bay's entrance directly. Instead, they landed a massive force east of the city, besieged El Morro from the landward side, and captured it. With El Morro fallen, the British guns could now fire down upon the city and the ships in the bay. Havana was forced to surrender. The British occupation lasted less than a year, but its impact was profound. They threw open the port to free trade, and suddenly over 1,000 merchant ships flooded the bay, a number previously unheard of. When Spain traded Florida to get Havana back, they had learned a valuable lesson. They could never let the bay fall again. This led to the construction of the largest fortress in the Americas, the colossal Fortaleza de San Carlos de la Cabana, built on the same ridge the British had used to attack El Morro. La Cabana was so huge and so expensive that King Charles III of Spain supposedly joked that it must have been built of silver. With this final addition, the defensive ring around Havana Bay was complete. Throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries, the bay continued to be the economic engine of Cuba. Sugar, tobacco, and coffee flowed out of the harbor to markets around the globe. New docks were built, and the city expanded far beyond its old colonial walls. The bay witnessed the arrival of steamships, the invention of the telegraph, and the dawn of the industrial age. It also saw the dramatic end of Spanish rule. In 1898, the American battleship USS Maine mysteriously exploded and sank while anchored in Havana Bay, triggering the Spanish-American War and ultimately leading to Cuba's independence. A monument to the victims of the USS Maine still stands by the waterfront today, a solemn reminder of that pivotal moment. In the 20th century, Havana Bay's role evolved again. While still a vital commercial port, it also faced new challenges. Centuries of industrial activity, sewage disposal, and oil spills had taken a severe toll on the bay's environmental health. The once pristine waters became heavily polluted. However, in recent decades, there has been a major push to clean up and revitalize the bay. The Cuban government, with international help, has launched ambitious projects to treat wastewater, remove contaminants, and restore the delicate marine ecosystem. Today, if you visit Havana, the bay is still the city's soul. You can walk along the Malecon, the famous seawall, and watch ships from all over the world sail through that historic channel, passing right under the watchful gaze of El Morro. You can take a ferry across the bay to visit the fortresses of La Cabana and El Morro, and from their ramparts you can look back at the stunning skyline of old Havana and understand exactly why this spot was so coveted. The story of Havana Bay is a perfect storm of geology, geography, and human ambition. It's a tale of treasure and pirates, of empires won and lost, of engineering, marvels, and environmental challenges. From a simple drowned river valley, it grew to become the key to the New World, the heart of a vibrant culture, and a symbol of resilience. It is a powerful reminder of how a single feature of the natural world can shape the course of human history. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey to Havana Bay. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into its incredible history. If you did, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories from around our amazing world. Let me know in the comments what other historical places you'd like to explore next. Until then, stay curious.